Has anybody had a chance to pitch to an investor, private investor before? Show of hands, no? You? Yeah. So very, very few. It's so there's some key differences between an angel and a VC. So an angel versus VC. An angel is independent, so he's indie. He's usually a person or a family, whereas a VC is a business startup, is sometimes a big box, like a super VC. So the approaches are different. When you meet somebody at like Excel in San Francisco, or Plenary or something, the Plenary has an office here, they have the representative that you meet at a VC, from a VC, they're going to be applying a formula. So they might come off as being a little austere and cold to you at first. It's different than an angel. When you meet an angel, you're meeting a person who's usually passionate about a niche, so you have to find out what the person likes and what his interests are, and you take a more personal approach. What I found, because I actually founded a few of my own startups, and I had to get angel investments. What I found works best is that if you're meeting a warm introduction, warm, meaning that you have some kind of connection. So if you're meeting a warm intro to an angel, you want to keep it short and sweet and just positive. You don't want to leave any bad impressions, and you just want to let that sit for a while. So you want to meet at a coffee shop, or you want to meet somewhere social and open. You want to get drinks, you don't want to get drunk. Social, open. That's hardly ever going to happen at a VC firm. Even if you do take them out to coffee, they don't really care, because they're applying a formula, and they have to report to a boss, and they have to file reports, they have to meet quota. It's just like any other kind of business. But with an angel, he's using his own money. He's usually very passionate about the cause. So for me, it was Bitcoin, specifically in the Philippines, because I feel that fintech, especially in the Philippines, can definitely lead the way for a number of reasons beyond the scope of this talk. So when you meet an angel for the first time, the first meeting, keep it social, quick, nothing negative. Just keep it very casual, superficial almost, and let it sit. It takes longer to convince an angel than it does a VC. It's one of the drawbacks. And why that is because VC, he already has his program set up for him. An angel, sometimes he's just by himself. Like when I first started in the Philippines this year, it was just me, a lawyer, an accountant, and a small back office. So it took us a long time to do due diligence. It's not that I was blowing off people, but it's just because low on manpower, right? So it takes a lot longer with an angel. So you just have to expect that. If you're looking for funding now, it's not going to happen overnight with an angel. With a VC, it may happen in 3 months. So here we average around 3 months. I just closed a co-investment deal, and it took under 3 months with a VC. With an angel, it could take anywhere from 6+ months. It really depends on a few things. How long will it take? How long till closing? Till you get the check. $sign. It depends on, is the angel the lead? And and we'll get back to what a lead is the angel first time, first investment? What's his history? First investment, question mark, history. With an angel as well, you're interviewing him as much as he's interviewing you. Because of the nature of the relationship, you can't really say that, okay, this is Joe Maristela, and he has offices here, and here, and so this is how big he is. But you can't say that about a person. He's not a company. He's a person. So you have to look at his history. And the problem with angels, another thing about angels, especially in Asia, outside the States, they don't publicize their investments. A lot of angels are secretive. And I'm throwing this event November 27th, and I invited a lot of investors to come to the conference. And almost maybe like 80% of them prefer not to be announced. So if you're looking for angels, so they're private, I would say outside the States. In the States, I don't know why they're so public about things, but that's how it is. Private outside States. So that's another thing that makes it hard to find angels. They don't publicize their investments, and they don't publicize who they are. So around 80% of them ask for NDAs and privacy agreements, where to get them to sign all those things for them to participate. And I'm talking about Katalyst. Katalyst.ph. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. So what to look for in an angel, his history is one. Number two is you ask him, and the phrasing to use here, and I've been asked this too because I invest in businesses, and they ask me in turn, what have you invested in? So you can ask them, so what have your investments been in? When were they? How big were the investments? And you can always, to be a little polite, you can just tell them, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. Because, again, the angels are private people. Next thing you want to figure out is bite size. Bite size. So what is their typical investment? Investment size. Everybody has a threshold. Every angel has a threshold. So bite size, and then if they have an established investment thesis. In the Philippines, and we can come back to some details about investment theses. In the Philippines, high net worth people, I don't know if this is true or not, but from my experience, their investment theses, I don't know if they're telling me this because they're being competitive, or, but they tell me that usually it's to help the Philippines. Like they tell me they're into green tech or sustainable energy, and it doesn't really make too much sense. Really a good chunk of angels are into the cause. Most of them are professionals, and they're doing it for a living. I myself have multiple hats. My business is BPO. I'm in the healthcare BPO business. So that tends to be my expertise. So if you're going to pitch to me, you'll have a better chance at getting an answer if it was in healthcare. I can tell you off the bat because I've invested in healthcare before a bunch of times, and healthcare is my profession. I can get you a turnaround on this pretty quickly. If it was something like nanotechnology, maybe not, because I don't know too much. I'd have to refer out to a specialist, I'd have to get a consultant, and it might take me over 6 months to figure out whether or not I would pass or not. So Does anybody know what a lead investor is? Has anybody heard the term? Sure. No? Nobody? Yeah. So a lead investor can mean a few things. In the States, it's things are very formulaic, and there are procedures and protocol. I think that's what makes the system out there so efficient. But a lead investor is either the first investor or the investor that sets the terms for all the follow-on investments. Follow-on. Sets terms. There are terms to every deal. And basic terms deal with time, what conditions, what if, what ifs, of course, amounts. If any of you are in software, the law is a lot like software, and these financial instruments are a lot like software, and that's why we're coding everything in Katalyst actually. So a lead investor is the first investor. If you're going to ask, if you don't have anybody to lead the round for you, and it's just the CEO, and the CEO is fresh out of college, this is an uphill battle. Your lead investor is as important, if not more important, than the CEO of the business, especially for a new CEO, because you need somebody with experience. That's why Larry Page and Sergey Brin, they weren't executives at their own company for like 10 years or something, because you need somebody that's old enough, that has the experience to take the business forward. So lead investor is very important. Usually he sits on the board. In the Philippines, I'm very new to investing here, just this year, just basically the past year, less. And so all of my assumptions are kind of brash and like kind of gross, but generalizations. But as far as I can tell, they're very tight with equity. Like nobody wants to shed equity. Nobody realizes that you can reconfigure equity down the line. It's legal stuff. It's kind of like business valuations. The better you are at financial calculus, it doesn't matter. You can value this company at anything. It depends on how good you are with the calculus or the legalese. So if the lead investor asks for some concessions, like a board seat or more equity, give it to them. At least your business and your idea will come to fruition. It's better than killing off the idea. Investment theses. These are programs. These have to do with, this is going to tell this is going to tell the investor and the investees what markets they're going to be able to play in. Markets can be defined by region, size, demographics. So I'm only going to deal with consumers, or I'm only going to deal with teenagers or the aged, things like that. So it's going to deal, so investment thesis defines markets, defines timing, again. So you can tell already that a lot of what an angel is going through in his head all the time is quantifying things. It's kind of like Neo in the Matrix. He walks around the world and he's always quantifying things. and building programs, like trying to see what the cause and effect of everything is. Timing is always an issue, market's always an issue, amounts, but it's not always, because this is finance. Finance, by definition, one plus one is the foundation of arithmetic, right? So, but with finance, it's present value of money, right? It's PV. So present value meaning the dollar today is worth more than a dollar 10 years from now. Always the case. So whenever you talk about amounts with an angel investor, you have to say when. It's kind of like space-time. Okay, we're talking about 100,000, but when? And when you can always break up when into tranches. Sorry, writing like this. Tranches. Phases, basically. So, especially in the Philippines, like Ideaspace and Kickstart, they prefer to give their investments in kind. So they say that they're going to issue a million peso prize. So it'll come in the way of business support and some cash. Might be based on milestones. So when you start to talk about, is there another side to this? Should I turn this around? When you start to talk about cash investments and milestones together and targets, this is a kind of incubation, actually, wherein the angel investor is trying to help you and test you at the same time and see if you have the chops to take the business to where the vision is, if you can execute the vision. So that's what we're doing at Impact, actually. We're incubating some businesses and we're issuing cash investments based on milestones and targets. So if they can roll out a feature in 3 months, all right, we're going to sign a commitment. This is how much we're going to sign. And then if they need another target, okay, we're going to up the commitment. There'll always be a max. There'll always be a ceiling. You always have to define everything. Nothing's finite. Nothing's infinite. There's always expirations. Always think about that. Nothing's infinite. And it's not that in order to make your business successful, you have to be an expert lawyer or accountant or financial advisor. That's not the case. But you do need to know, you need to have that in the background of your mind, because ignorance, it's not gonna help you. The best CEOs have this in the back of their mind. They can't execute it. They're not their own, they don't act as their own lawyers, but they do have the terms and the intuition about it. It's kind of like tech companies and CEOs that are in the tech business, but they themselves are not software developers. They have an intuition about the technology, but they themselves are not able to execute. What else are we going to talk about? Angel lead, Katalyst, investment thesis, markets. Okay, we'll talk about Katalyst. Katalyst.ph is a platform. So this year I started my family's investment program here. And so this is a platform. And I was getting kind of, first of all, the traffic with meeting everybody. Angels, you have to do the initial meeting, and then you have to check the person out. Who is this guy? Is he trying to scam you? What's his background? And it goes back and forth, because questions are to me, and questions are to him. Katalyst, for me, was addressing this. And this started out as an MS Access program that I built. and this automated deal flow. Deal flow is a term mostly used by VCs because they're in a big office, big fancy office. Deal flow is everything from the handshake and intro to the check, actually. Or even, you can even say the angel's exit. By the way, if these terms are super foreign to you, there's some good books on product hunt. A buddy of mine is running this blog, glorified blog, Product Hunt. ProductHunt.com. It's updated real time. Just search for something like startup books. Actually, I know a search term that will definitely get you what you need. It's called venture deals. Product Hunt, and another good one. CB Insights. They give a 1 month free trial. It's like a $3,000 per month subscription, but they give a 1 month free trial. Just keep using a new email address every time. You can get it for free for life. So this is like Bloomberg for venture capitalists and angel investors, and they have everything sortable. It's so awesome. So you can look up startups based on addressable market, and it's really good. It's really good info. So anyway, Katalyst is it started out as an MS Access program. So when I say it encompasses handshake to exit, I mean literally. So everything that I do to get a deal done, I ask for the SEC registration, personal references, personal ref. What else? There's a lot actually. Look at the books, CPA attestation, MVPs, code, etc. All of that can be uploaded to Katalyst now, and I can do the pre-screening, and it's all automated. Actually, I was able to do that with MS Access, and I can score all of them. So all of the startups that I'm looking at, I can sort, and I can put them into folders, and I can grade them, and now I'm pushing that out to the public because I'm just an angel investor. But in order to bring in VCs, we need to publicize the business ideas. And the way to do that is to present it in a way that this stuff is already prepared for everybody, especially foreign investors. This is why we're doing Katalyst, is that in order to bring in foreign capital, we need to present the really good ideas in the Philippines in a way that's internationally palatable. And which is good because it's a tie-in to what you guys are trying to do here, which is represent the Philippines internationally. So that's what Katalyst is, rolling it up slowly. It's also a community. So like, I'm gonna boot up the startup next year, and I'm gonna need business partners. I'm going to go to Katalyst as well, and ask, because from there I can manage agreements. Do it all online. I mean, software is the best way to leverage. It's all about leverage. Little insight about Katalyst Office values. Everybody has to have a structured value system, which should be published and republished over time. Some companies issue a value statement. Ours is, we value productivity. This is not to be super dry and productivity, efficiency, and this consequently means that we value automation and leverage. And what that means is that we believe the mind is meant for more than just rote and manual processes, right? We also value transparency and information. Everybody should have value statement, even as early as the idea stage, because that's going to come out. That's going to come out. You know, you read the Steve Jobs book, and you read about these design stories and how he made his designers paint the backside as well. It's because he says in his belief was that if you put that much care into a product or business, it's going to show on the outside, right? So, transparency. So, that's about it. I can take questions, because anything. I can go into details about, quantity details, or amounts. You guys have any questions about that? So first meeting, second meeting, so I can go into the phases again. Back to the steps. So you do the warm intro, and if the angel is really hot on the idea, he's going to email you within a week. And if not, if you don't hear from him, it's just like a relationship. It's just like courting a girl or something. If you don't hear from him, it's not a good sign, I guess, or he's not interested. Or he's probably just backed up on other work. A lot of angels out here, and angel investing is just a hobby. It's just like a genteel sport for them. So warm intro, follow-on. At the follow-on meeting, you want to get some progress. How do you know if you're making progress here? They start talking about real business. They start dropping terms like equity. How much am I going to get? When do you expect to go to market? Revenue, sales. If they're asking those kinds of questions, then it's probably going to lead somewhere. Or at least you're on the right track. If they ask stuff like, or if they say, they're not asking, if they say, oh, but Google's already doing this, and this is not going to happen because this is happening already. Oh, I just talked to another startup, he's doing this, and okay. Whether he's right or wrong, it's probably not a good fit. And culture fit is the most important thing. It's the hardest thing to grasp for me. It's culture fit. The most important thing. It's the hardest thing for me to grasp because I've always worked better by myself, and I never really understood how to qualify good culture fit. But apparently, this is just a fancy term for if you get along with somebody. And how do you know if you get along with somebody? The real test is a stress test. In medicine, the way they stress test, for example, your lungs, is they have you run on a treadmill. They'll have you run at a certain speed for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and they increase the speed, and they see how your organs react. With a stress test for relationships, up to you guys how you want to, I don't sound too robotic about how you deal with people, but sometimes money is a good stress test, or time. So, like if, just let them sit on an email, the angel. Let him sit on an email, and if he comes back to you, it's a good indication. You don't have to follow the test to fruition, but you can just think in terms of like a thought experiment of what it is. You don't have to actually execute a stress test, but it's just a good indicator. Like I said, a lot of angels are just walking around and quantifying and building programs and imagining these things. Culture fit, the most important thing. it's more than when I first started hearing about how important culture fit was. I was like, what does that mean? Is it like, do you guys care about the same favorite color? Do you guys worry about the same music? Or apparently it's not that. It's how well you work with each other. And like I said earlier, with your first business, the lead investor is often more important than the CEO. With your first business, if you don't have contacts, lead investors are going to be more important. So you need to look at more than just the investment. Actually, more often than not, really important angel investors, they don't put that much money down because they have a program themselves. They've been in the game a long time, and they know that they have to spread, they have to diversify a little bit. So the more experienced ones probably won't put a lot of money down, but the lead investor will find a co-investor for you, and that's how you know you've got a good one, is if they're able to close the round for you. I see a lot of like faces, so I'm going to re-emphasize product hunt, and then the term close the round. Close round. It's really funny that they developed all these weird terms in Palo Alto. Close round. That just means that you set a goal, a funding goal, like on the crowdfunding thing. Set a goal, and if you reach that goal, you close the round. That's what that means. And if you get a lead investor to do that for you, you can spend more time on marketing and messaging to your market. And sometimes your market doesn't just include users and customers. When you're in the idea stage, sometimes your market includes the press, investors, regulators. You got to think about that. And the reason why you have to think about that is that when you're a startup, you're doing everything. You're washing the dishes, and at the same time, you're cutting the checks. As CEO of a startup, you got to think of everything. It's pretty exhausting. So, Q&A? Question? Yeah.
How diversified is your portfolio?
In the Philippines? In Katalyst? Okay, first of all, Katalyst is registered with the SEC as an incubator only. I do angel investments with the business directly as a person. I have invested in equal parts, almost equal by the end of the year. FinTech. December, this month actually, health tech. Social, this includes news. More or less like 4 niches. My first investment in the Philippines was for like $200,000, and we issued the amount up front. And we now do milestones. We now incubate.
They don't get on the platform unless they really invest in the work.
No, this is public. At least that's the hope. Anybody can join the platform. It's just that is anybody going to invest in you? And it really depends on how well you score and how well you pitch, I guess. It's just that the pitch is going to be drawn out. It's not just that personal pitch at the stage or at the meeting. It's a matter of packaging everything.
And, sorry.
No, that's good.
Question. So when
Is he a mic?
Can you please approach the mic right there?
So, my
Second question is, after that initial meeting with your prospective investors, and they start requesting for information from you, is it wise to include the pre-money valuation?
You can. It really depends. I mean, it depends on the market, and depends on. So, if you're in a highly competitive market, there are a lot of similar products. Yeah, you probably should quantify to the hilt and try try to exhibit to them where your value prop might be for the investor.
Because normally when we publish our pre-money valuation, it's really just based on projections. We have
Of course,
created-
it's always your projections, because so hardly any startup is going to have any money.
Okay. Right. And what are the, what would be, as far as those projections are concerned, what would be?
Well, be realistic.
Yeah.
The first year, you're not going to integrate, if you're in the Philippines and operating in the Philippines, sales in the Philippines, you're not going to integrate other markets outside the Philippines. They're going to be like, you guys are just starting, you can't even make it in the Philippines, you're already including the Singaporean market, and no, it doesn't make sense. But we have this many sales in Makati right now, so if you add up all of ASEAN, this is how much, well, no, it's baby steps.
Any other question? Yes, please approach them.
Hi, Joe. So besides the money, what does Katalyst offer? In terms of
Well, again, Katalyst is strictly an incubator with the SEC. And investment partners. So, we've been thinking about this a lot lately. We really want to help startups with the incubation services. That includes marketing, pooled marketing, mentors, connections, accounting, all the stuff that every business has to deal with. Everybody knows about it already. Why do you have to do it yourself? It's just an added thing, right? We want to try to do that for free. And that's why we're trying to get sponsorships and start and support. I'm putting in the initial support, but hopefully I can get like other people to pitch in. Mostly investors are expressing.
So how about you personally as an angel investor?
As an angel investor,
What do you offer besides the money?
it depends. In healthcare, I run a healthcare BPO, and we deal with thousands of health insurances in the States. And so I can offer contacts, and it depends on the stage of the business. I might ask to play a role in the business and help to develop the business and push it to closer to the vision. And as soon as it's stable, I'll take a step back, get somebody else. As an angel, that's usually the case. VC, usually not unless there's an emergency. They won't ask to take a role in the business. And at every stage, every month, it's worse than running a public company because there's, especially in the Philippines, especially if you deal with, probably the number one rule is never, I know it sounds bad, because I'm back and forth about this, whether or not you should take investment money from family and friends. Because if you do take it from family and friends, it's full of confidence, right, for outsiders. Oh, yeah, you have your own skin in the game, right? At the same time, on a daily basis, your auntie, your tita, will be asking you every morning, oh, what's going on with this feature? What's going on with that feature? Did you eat? That kind of thing. In the Philippines, it happens. Any other questions?
Any more questions from our participants?
I'm going to be, so we have this event in November, and I'm going to check with the office and see how many free tickets we have, and I'm going to pass it on to, and my notes as well, for this. I had some slides, but I forgot them. So I'll email them out to PA, and then if you can send it to you guys. Sorry, I was sick. Anything? What else?
Alright, if there are no more questions, please give a round of applause to Mr. Maristela. We would also like to present the certificate of appreciation to Joe Maristela for unselfishly sharing his